Shalom, everybody. Welcome back to HaRav Gottlieb's articles in the back of Matan Torah by the Baal Sulam, giving translation by Arya Siegel. We're at the end of the first essay called Loving the Other as Yourself, in the middle of page 143. As we left off, one last question regarding the rich man who lost his fortune. Wasn't this the will of God? And if so, aren't we going against God's will if we continue to supply his needs? And the same question can be asked about a needy family in a really bad situation. If God brought them to this situation, who am I to try to change it? Good question. If you go deeper into such a question in regards to the deterministic worldview, perhaps you can go as far as to say, why do anything? Everything's already written in the books, so to speak. The Creator has already preordained all. Will that is free, or something that is truly determined prior to our action. Perhaps existing in the myriad of the multiverse, all possible options existing. So still, what's the point? Why do anything? All the more so in regards to the theology of Kabbalah, we're all going to make it. Everyone is promised their ultimate perfection. So if I'm going to get there anyways, why do the work? Somewhat of a separate question and issue. But it's related. It's related to the notion of if the Creator already did what he did, and this is the condition, why put in the effort otherwise to change something? Answer. This question appears in the Talmud, in Masechet Sanhedrin, chapter 11. And the answer given there is that God brings people to poverty in order to educate the people around them to be giving. For a given poor individual, it may also be the case that that person's poverty is a challenge that he or she must deal with in the course of his or her own spiritual work. Provides a lot of challenges one can imagine. Challenges of faith, of emunah, to believe if someone's in a condition of being poor, that this is the best possible condition for me because that's what the Creator chose in this moment. That doesn't mean someone doesn't want to try to change their condition and do the utmost to do so. There's a balance. And that balance requires work. Hence, the wording here. Nevertheless, the divine will commands those in the poor person's environment to do whatever they can to raise the poor person out of poverty. That is their spiritual work. And they must believe that the other person became poor only so that they would have the opportunity to grow from the experience in giving to him or her. Certainly, if they themselves had become poor, they would do all they can to get what they need and wouldn't just accept the situation as God's will. If this is the way we would act for ourselves, then we should act for others in the same way. So an individual is brought to such a condition in order for others to help them. A similar reasoning is given to someone who is brought into this world with a mental disability. For example, someone with Down syndrome. The Rebbe Shlita has written an article saying that the Arizal himself would stand up, as you should stand up by Jewish law, for a Torah scholar or for an elder, 70 years or up. He would stand up for such individuals, even if it was a child. Because with his incomprehensible spiritual level, given this spiritual x-ray that he had, he was able to see that the soul of all these individuals were very great, practically perfect souls. And the only correction that that soul needed to do is to live life in this broken body, so to speak. And that's it. But the purpose of them being in that body, as difficult as it is to have such a life, the reason more so is to provide greater opportunities of refinement for the ones around them that have to help take care of them, being their parents and their siblings and the like. Point being is that their condition is for others to practice being more giving. And that's but another example, similar to the poor individual, that provides others the opportunity to be giving. Especially in regards to the poor person, the reason why the poor person is such a lofty example, because tzedakah, charity, also translated as righteousness, the notion of tzedakah, as I've read it in Hasidic teachings, is hinted to by the four-letter name of the Creator, Yud Ke Vav Ke. The first letter Yud, it's the smallest letter, almost akin to a coin, but being that the Yud is the highest letter, or the tallest one, the most elevated one, hinting to its great loftiness. And so it is, in terms of the four-letter name, it's alluding to the highest level that a human being can reach, being the spiritual consciousness of Atzilut, the aura of Chokhmah, and the like. And so this is the coin, meaning all of the sustenance and nourishment that is provided for us is from above. It's from the root. Everything is from above. There's nothing that we have that isn't from the hands of the Creator. So you have the coin from above, and then the letter after the Yud is the first Hey. Hey is the numerical value of 5. Hey is like a hand. The hand receives the coin. The Vav is the next letter. It's a line. It is the arm extending out to give the coin to charity. And the last letter is the last Hey, the receiving hand, who then receives the coin, receives the charity. Hinting to the fact that providing for others material needs is the individual's spiritual work and is a very lofty thing to do. As the Rebbe Shlita has said and quoted the Baal Sulam, that our spirituality are others' materiality. To help and provide for others materially, given that it is actually something we take out of ourselves, so to speak, being my net worth is X amount, and I'm taking out from that literally and giving to the other, which is more giving because it's against our nature to do so. In contrast to lecturing someone and providing spiritual advice, which isn't really coming from a place of extracting and now lacking something. I'm not lacking the information. I provide it to an individual. Perhaps in regards to time and energy, if someone came to an individual for consultation and that person gave them their time and energy to consult them, that's certainly giving. But just to give out spiritual teachings and advice to people who never asked for it, that's not giving. That's receiving. The person is giving that to receive themselves, to feel a sense of honor, pride, and the like. And the reason why the example, as brought in Matan Torah itself, is the person who, for example, had riches, lost all their wealth, and the obligation in the community to continue to take care of them. And the extreme example in that case that was brought was if they had a servant, so the community is obligated to provide that person a servant, even in their now poverty, because that was what they were used to. We provide people with their needs, and their needs are akin to their habits and what they've been accustomed to, which is all the more so difficult for the community in theory, because one can say, why do we need to provide this person with a servant? We should all just be serving each other anyways in this community, providing for each other's needs. It's nonsensical. It's above reasoning to have to pool in money to buy this person a servant. For what? Maybe the Creator brought them to that condition so they can do some more work themselves and not have a servant do things for them. All fair, all logical. But to do the mitzvah of loving the other as yourself, v'ahavta l'recha kamocha, assumes such actions also that are above reasoning. It doesn't matter what the logic or reasoning is. I'm speaking in this theoretical extreme scenario, of course. But the mitzvah is to provide them with their needs. It shouldn't matter what that need is. Of course, as long as it's within the borders and guidelines of Torah and mitzvot. So, Sat Hashem will continue to the next essay, which is cleaving to God, Dvekut. Till next time, all the best.